determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.
Good evening everybody, welcome to Apex Racing TV, welcome to the Twing Motegi circuit here in Japan, and welcome to round 4 of the Extreme Motorsports Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you in part by TD's Tree Service. Tonight is our second endurance race of the season, 90 minutes around this 4.8 kilometre circuit. In the commentary box for you for the next 2 hours or so tonight, it's me, Adam Bath. Alongside me is iRacing Road Pro Series champion Alex Simpson, and Andrew Woodhouse will be along in a few moments, I'm sure. But Alex, welcome, Twin Wing Motegi. What do you think of this circuit? We usually go to Suzuka, but we're driving around Japan's probably second most well-known racing circuit.
Yeah, I like Motegi. It's a nice circuit. It's good fun to drive. It has that typical Japanese asphalt, which is quite slippery though. And I think there's a couple of corners that will sort of challenge the guys. Particularly, I mean, I think of it as turn sort of 2. The exit of that, it all kind of blends into one. But I think effectively, I think they class it as turn 4. So it's coming out of the second, the second straight there. It's quite a tricky corner because the car, you're steering a lot, you're getting heavy on the gas, and the back end tends to want to get away. And I think even in the Mustang and the MX-5 tonight, it's going to be quite tricky through there. And you've got a couple of corners that have got a lot of camber to play as well. Some really tight hairpins, some downhill braking where the car likes to lock up. So yeah, it's a fun track to drive, and I think it's also a bit of a challenge. It's notorious for being very difficult to overtake. I feel like the MX-5 is still not going to have too much problem. They get a reasonable slipstream, and down that back straight into the tight right-hander, they're still going to be able to make those moves. But the Mustangs, they're going to be really, really tricky, so pit stops are going to be so important here.
Perfect track for an endurance race then. With it being tricky to overtake, you're going to be weighing up those moves for the majority of the evening. I say second most well-known circuit, probably third behind Mount Fuji. And of course this circuit, pretty iconic for it being based inside an oval, but none of the oval is used on the circuit. We go underneath the oval out into the outfield really, and then back in again towards the later stages of the lap. Or less of us talking about the circuit. We're going to hand you over now to a track guide to explain even more how to get around this 4.8 kilometre circuit here at Twing Motegi.
Welcome everyone to Twin Ring Motegi, located here in Motegi, Japan. Great to have you with us as we provide you your track guide today in the Ford Mustang around this 3-mile road course. Motegi was built in 1998 by auto manufacturer Honda, in part to bring the IndyCar series to Japan. Danica Patrick captured her first and only IndyCar win here at Motegi in 2008. Even NASCAR has had a taste of Motegi, racing here on the oval portion of the track during its inaugural year. This is a mostly flat and very fast track, as you will see as we begin our trek up the front straightaway here. Moving up through the gears, we'll notice our main grandstands to the left on the other side of the oval portion, pit area to the right. As we come across the stripe, down into turn 1, we hit the 50-meter board, down into third gear, let the car lift, down into second, and let's get a good, nice, fast launch off this first corner here. Out of turn 2, onto the short straightaway here that leads us down to another double corner, double apex here, a left-hander this time as we hit the 70-meter, get down through the gears into second, get right down to the apex, let the car track out wide, and get a nice run up through turn 4. As we come out of the exit, this is a pretty fast section here. This portion is a good overtaking opportunity for drivers coming down into the entry of 5. Heavy on the brakes, very difficult, hard right-hander. Press that apex, get right back to throttle under the bridge of the backstretch of the oval course. Coming up through 6, this is a flat-out corner, wide open through here. You want to stay right and set up for 7 and 8, the S's. Right to the bottom, let that car stay left, track out a little bit, get a late apex into 8, get right back to throttle, track all the way out to get that speed and up into 9 here. Another hard left-hander down into second gear, very tight on entry, wide open on exit, got to be careful there. It's real easy to get loose coming out of 9. This brings us down to the only hairpin on the track, turn 10. Very late apex here, down into second gear, let the car rotate in the center, start getting back to throttle, and get a good launch up onto the longest straightaway here at Motegi, the downhill straight. As we crest the hill down into turn 11, another big passing opportunity down into this corner, probably the most popular passing zone here at Motegi. Hard on the brakes, down into 11, back to throttle, up into third, underneath the oval portion of the track, around turn 12, and now heavy braking down into 13. Let the car roll back to the center of the apex to the right, wide open up off the corner there, known as Victory Corner. This brings us back out onto the front straightaway and across the start-finish line. There's your lap and your track guide for Twin Ring Motegi here in Japan.
Thanks as always to the Ricmotech guys there for providing us a great insight into the tracks that make up the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. And as we've been saying, round 4 of the championship today at Twin Ring Motegi. So far this season, only 2 winners in the Mustang category. Mike Dam with 2 wins to his name, and Aeronom with the 1 going into this one. And in the MX5s, John Allen, Rob Hartley, Brian Holmes, all different winners in that category. We'll see if we can make it 4 and 4 today. We're running through the championship standings then. Bushvink Racing leading the way with their driver Aeronom. He's got a very slender points margin there over Mike Dam, and that is 3 points. Dam Motorsports in second. Kevin Ford sits in third, quite a way behind the Ford Racing Mustang. And then Shake and Bake Racing in fourth with Tyler Schiffler, just the 1 point between him. And then it's just 1 point back to Clint Vigas, the privateer, doing very well as the cars start to form up on the back straights. That's the top 5 in the pros. In the open category, it is Booligan Racing with Mike Monaghan leading the way there. He has got a 14-point advantage over Wharton Racing and the driver Corey Wharton. Third in the open category in the Mustangs, it is Jennifer McDonald. She's just 2 points behind Wharton. In 4th it is RFC Racing, Robert Brist. Then 1 point behind him in 5th is Fun Racing's Scott Brooks. Moving to the Mazdas then, it is Madhouse Racing 2 leading the way there with Rob Hartley. 10 points ahead, 10 points behind I should say, is Defined Auto Works, that's John Allen in 2nd. Asbury Motorsports 1 is Travis Schwenke in 3rd with 93 points. And then it is a 12-point gap to Madhouse Racing 1 in 4th, and that is Brian Holmes. 5th in the pros is Jeff Jacobs for Jacobs Racing. Into the open category for the Mazdas, it is Zachary Rubin for All Aspects Motorsports. He's got a 10 points advantage over DC Motorsports, Dan Carrido behind the wheel there. Then Capspire Motorsports in 3rd with Lyndon McMurphy. No Clue Motorsports, Mike Key in 4th. And then rounding out the top 5 in the open category in the Mazda MX-5s, it is Fritter Sport Racing with Edgar Sanchinelli. Running through the grid quickly as well. We've got the championship standings out of the way, so just got enough time to run you through the grid. Mike Dam starting on pole position for this one. He's already won 2 races this season. Can he make it 3? And he won the last endurance race as well at Daytona, round 1. Pasquale Iannucci starting in 2nd, Aaron on 3rd, Stephen Thomas 4th, Kevin Ford 5th, and Clint Viger 6th, the privateer. And Leon Wright 7th, Tyler Schiffler 8th, Andrew Lanning 9th, Russell Reddick running at the top 10 in the Mustangs, then into the Mazdas, Rob Hartley starting on pole, Brian Holmes 2nd, Jim Liss 3rd, John Allen 4th, Travis Schwenke 5th. John Allen, I should say, very little experience around Twin Wing Motegi. The same with COTA last week, and Zachary Rubin, Geordie Fike, Jeff Jacobs, Lyndon McMurphy, Joe Boyd. Starting at the back of the grid is going to be Patrick Ravenis. Good evening, Andrew Woodhouse.
Good evening, Adam. Good evening, everybody. Well, very excited to be here again for 90-minute race here at Twin Ring. Motegi pace car is in. Car's round the final chicane. Any moment now. Mike Down, the pole sitter, is going to unleash that V8 engine. What he can do in this race. Here we go. Green light is on. Away from the grid. Dam doesn't really get a great jump. Iannucci's still alongside him into the first corner. It's a double apex here. Double apex right-hander. Looks like Nom already challenging Iannucci. Adam coming through there.
Good start in the Mustangs, all pretty clean, but too wide as we go into turn 2. As you said, Iannucci trying to get past Aero Nom. And Iannucci looks like he's got it done. It's very difficult to hang it out around the outside through those corners.
3 wide in the middle. Between off, he's wide onto the grass. Leon Wright possibly.
Look at the start as well in the MX-5s. They're already 3 wide. This is just crazy. Could be 4 wide potentially.
You may.
Big to see how the Mazdas are going to go here today, because it is a very tight and twisty circuit, and there's not going to be much opportunities for some slipstreaming apart from the back straight. And as you can see, everyone pretty much separated by a few tenths.
John Allen already up to 2nd place.
I know,
try and get it ahead of so already through into 2nd. It's Brian Holmes who's dropped down the order, added to 4th place.
Yeah, Brian Holmes not having the best start in the Madhouse Racing car, but he has won a race this season, so we'll see if he can fight back. Of course, John Allen saying that he doesn't have much experience around the circuit. It looks like Rob Hartley made a small error as we went under the banking, and that's allowing John Allen to close up a little bit more as we go into the outfield section now of this oval.
See what happens. Good morning, Alex. And we're taking under the lights. It's always quite a fun one, isn't it? And an hour and a half around here, it might not be the easiest thing. Concentration's going to come into play, I think, quite a lot, especially towards the end. Maybe for us too.
Well, yeah, definitely. I think for us as well, we'll be wilting come the end of the night. But I mean, the lighting here's okay. There's a couple of areas where the track's quite dark, so they're going to actually need their lights. So, like you say, concentration's got to be on point, because it could be very easy to make a mistake here.
Yeah, and you don't want to have crashed heavily, Adam, and destroyed the lights either. That will not help.
Definitely won't. I think we know from our BSR rally exploits that once the lights go, it's very difficult if you don't have those in front of you. So even with a track that's got a bit of lighting like Twin and Motegi, the headlights are still pretty important, as The Mustangs have completed the opening lap, and Mike Dam has a half a second advantage over Pasquale Iannucci.
I was about to say you've been playing WRC7, so you probably do know how that feels. But yeah, it's not the best situation. I raced here in the Club Series in the Kia
I remember
around
commentating on that one. Yeah.
in the dark. I finished second here, so it is a track that if you dial yourself into it, can do well and can get good results. Lots of similar corners here, Alex. I think you'll agree in terms of the way the track is. There's basically only 2 or 3 types of corner that you'll encounter around this track.
Yeah, pretty much so. You know, the sort of hairpinny style corners, very point and shoot circuit is Motegi, and then you have got your sort of sweeping corners in the middle as
and then you've got double apexes, and that's kind of it.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
But it's a very fun. I think it's a fun track to drive. What do you think of it?
No, I was saying to Adam at the start, I really do like the circuit. You can get into a nice rhythm here, and it is fun to race. And I would think endurance racing probably be a lot more fun because it is difficult to overtake. So once you add that strategy element into it, I think you know, it's kind of perfect.
Yeah, it might be one of the few tracks of the season, Adam, where we're not having to deal with a heck of a lot of overtaking, even maybe with the MX-5. So, and we've seen some fuel strategy come into play, come to prominence in this series over the last couple of seasons, and it's going to be another one of those today.
Yeah, really intrigued to see how this one's going to play out. Of course, only 5 minutes into this one, so still got plenty of time to go. Just been told through the strategy for this one that the Mustang drivers will be taking a fuel tank in their first pit stops. This means that some drivers may only take 2 tyres and get out of the pits quicker. We saw some of the races in over the last season or so that if you take 2 tyres towards the end of the race, it really does start to show. If you take the full 7.2 gallons, you may as well take 4 tyres because it is the same amount of time. So there's not really going to be much time gained if you take 2 tyres. You're just going to be sitting there waiting for the fuel to fill up.
Yeah, I think you're right. And just to point out as well that due to the nature of the circuit, only 2.5 seconds separates the fastest Mazdas from slowest Mustangs. So we might only see a couple of incidents of lapping in these hour and a half, Alex, maybe.
Yeah, it's maybe even just one, you know, depending on how traffic and everything works out, can really slow down the Mustangs. So, like you say, there's not a huge amount of time difference between them. So,
I think there'll be certain parts of the lap, Adam, where the Mazda is actually quicker. Maybe that whole middle sector.
Yeah, the middle sector definitely looks where the Mazda's the more nimble of the 2 cars. Doesn't have a massive V8 to hurl around. Pasquale Iannucci, good start to the race from him. Good qualifying by the Team Potato car. Car 8 currently sitting in 2nd position and doing a good job of holding back the rest of the field as he tries to put some pressure on Mike Dam. Just need to make sure that Iannucci is able to hold on to this form for the rest of the race, because we have seen for the last few races now that he is a very good starter and a good qualifier. Just need to see him get through to the end of the race.
His first half is very good usually, and second half does leave a lot to be desired sometimes. But Alex, I wonder if he's just one of those guys who maybe instead of bothering with the fuel and saving it and serving things and whatever, maybe he's just going hell for leather all the time, and maybe that's what happens. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, we've definitely noticed that there is an element of strategy in this series. I think you've got to get those little things right, haven't you? We've mentioned this with Kevin before as well. So, you know, there's a few drivers out there that just, you know, that's one of them, I think, that just needs to just get those last little things just nailed, and could see them winning more races. So, you know, the likes of Dam and Vikes in the past as well, you know, they're really sort of on point with the little details, getting their pit stops just bang on. So, and this here today is going to be even more important, because as I say, it's very difficult to overtake. Not much slipstream available either.
No, and you look at the lead pack in the MX-5s as well, and you get that sort of feeling too all the way back to Geordie Fike in 23rd place, which is 7th on the road. It's 7th on the road in the MX5s. Pretty much they're the ones with the chance of taking the win, Adam, I think, at this point, because they're just hanging on together with the slipstream, just trying to get some, trying to make some headway, and maybe trying to save a bit of fuel as well. If you're everybody, maybe but Rob Hartley, maybe including Rob Hartley.
Yeah, this brings us on nicely onto the strategy element for the Mazdas as well. They'll go about 17 to 18 laps on a tank of fuel. So they're expecting the race to go about 40 to 41 laps. So, yeah, we're about a tenth of the way through this one already in the Mazda class. They'll be able to pit around 43 to 46 minutes into the race, and then again with 5 to 10 minutes to go. So we're going to have a bit of a thriller in the final quarter of an hour in the Mazda class, and it will still be up in the air to decide who's going to win that one. If the drivers really want to conserve that much, they can complete this race apparently on one pit stop, and I wonder if anyone will be able to get that done here today. Maybe some of the drivers are just hanging back. Maybe Jeff Jacobs. I might call that one out. Maybe he might have a chance of getting this one.
Someone's going to try it. I wouldn't put my money against Travis Fenke doing it.
No, he seems pretty useful on the fuel. Where is
Don Allen loves a weird strategy as well. He might go for that.
Yeah, I mean, and Travis not right at the front here, but he's in that sort of lead pack, so you know he might be in a good position right now just to save the fuel.
You were speaking about John Allen. His experience at this circuit is minimal, but it is a track he is very fond of and enjoys driving it at night as well, which is brilliant because we're racing at night here today. Looking forward to the battle up front for this one. COTA for him last week, round 3, was a bit of a survival race for him, and he thinks the best tracks are yet to come. So hopefully to start tonight at Motegi is the beginning of a good run of points for him in the championship. Has already won a race, and that was in the last 90-minute race we had, the first round of the season at Daytona. John Allen today driving in the Mazda MX-5, driving for the Defined Auto Works team, currently sitting in 2nd place, and yeah, 3 positions gained already for Allen. And Jim List, new to this season, but is looking pretty good at the moment, currently sitting in 3rd place in class, keeping behind some of the big names in the series, like we've just been mentioning on the previous lap, the likes of Brian Holmes and Travis Fenke.
And it's always good to see a driver come into the series and doing well. John Allen, of course, did make it work, didn't he, in that first round of the season, as Holmes goes side by side with Jim List, trying to move him down the list. Alex.
Yeah, I have to say Jim sort of defended that one quite nicely, but right under the cosh now, as Holmes got a fantastic exit out of what is the slowest speed corner. Or slowest corner of the circuit. There we go.
There you go. Svenke versus Zachary Rubin in the background as well. Svenke going through.
Holmes got through as well. So two guys just making moves towards the front. I did say sort of right at the start as well that I felt the MX-5s definitely could take advantage of the slipstream down that back straight and get the moves done. And prime example there. So just about long enough really to get alongside. You can't get clean through, so you're still having to do it a little bit on the brakes, but yeah, 2 good moves done exactly the same time. Did allow Allen and Hartley to pull away just a fraction, but you have to think that Holmes will be able to claw his way back to him with the slipstream that's still in on offer. Jacobs into the pits. Anyone know what that could be for? Is that a very early splash, or has got some damage or something?
The 11.8 seconds stop for Jeff Jacobs. Don't know whether this could be him.
Stop, I think. Is it splash?
This could be him possibly trying to get home from here, perhaps. Maybe so. Another car's been in.
You can't get home from here. I'm pretty sure.
Perhaps he's not going to save the fuel, so he knows that he can just do one stop now, and he's home and dry sort of thing. So.
Yeah,
Brandon Whitworth also coming in. Andrew Lanning also coming in as Travis Fenke tries to get past Jim List. Fenke's turning it on.
Lanning's been in, I think, already.
Yeah, I was just saying he's yeah, he was in a few laps ago, wasn't he?
So I wonder if he's just decided, well, I'll pit now where I can come out in some clear air, some good laps in, and maybe move up the order. I don't know if that's the plan for Andrew Lanning.
A good last lap by Travis Fenke, the Asbury Motorsports car, up 2 positions, passing Jim List and Zachary Rubin, and now Jim List is under pressure from Rubin, the All Aspects Motorsports car, trying to apply the pressure, and behind him you've got Geordie Fike as well. Fike doing well.
List not having a good few laps. He was in third in category, and then he's dropped down behind Holmes, behind Schwenke, and now Zachary Rubin looking like he's going to relegate him down to 6th place again.
Yeah, it's crazy how quickly he's fallen back. Last laps have obviously dropped off quite a bit, but it's more just because he's being overtaken. But yeah, just Holmes and Travis really just making a move, aren't they? And I think that's kind of caught List out.
Noticeable, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's caught out this second little pack, hasn't it? With Rubin and Fike as well.
We do see that often where they just sort of, that second pack drops off all of a sudden. They're there for a while, and then there's like a sort of a go lap really for the leaders, where those sort of top 4 all get together, and then yeah, they struggle to keep up from there.
It's happened in the front of the Mustangs as well. Mike Dam, Pasquale Iannucci, and Stephen Thomas have just decided, well, we're going to leave you guys behind, have a nice evening, and they have indeed gone. Leon Wright is in 5th, and then Kevin Ford 6th, Clint Vigus 7th. So I must admit, I did think they'd be figuring. Usually Vigus is the man for the second half of the race. Did think maybe he would be slightly more in touch than he is. 6.8 seconds off the lead. Alex, interesting few weeks for yourself. iRacing Road Pro Series title, and then you were doing the Major Series the other night. I did watch a little bit of it. You looked like you were doing quite well. Did you finish in the top 10 in the end?
Yeah, I finished 8th. I think we messed up the strategy a little bit towards the end, and yeah, we should have had just a splash and dash at the end, and then forgot to untick the tyres, so we had to wait for that to happen. We were very quick at the end, but unfortunately we had to wait an extra 6 or 7 seconds in the pits. So yeah, 6th place went begging. I don't think we'd have had much more than that, but yeah, 6 was definitely on until we made that mistake. But
did you enjoy the race though?
I'll take that. Yeah, I mean, it was a difficult car to drive. Obviously, the turbo lag's a bit extreme in the Nissan, and I'm not a huge fan of the oval circuit at Daytona, but you know, doing 2 hours 24 minutes, kind of got to grips with it. 0x the race, so I was pretty happy with that.
That's really good.
Yeah, so
in that car.
Yeah. So I was pretty happy with that. I think I was the only one in the whole over all of the splits and all of the 4 regions to do it. So I was pretty happy with that.
Well,
nice
that's
to get.
That's as opposed
Ford
to me.
Looking on Thomas. Sorry, guys.
All right, I was going to say that's opposed to me when I did one race in the Camel GT at Daytona, and I lasted 1 corner, spun off and hit the wall. As Kevin Ford goes. He stays.
Now goes ahead of him. Yeah, Kevin Ford, the Ford racing car, up to 5th, and yeah, driving past Leon Wright there in the One Wild One racing car, and yeah, right down to 6th place, but that is still 1 position higher than where he started. So Wright having an okay start to this race. We're 17 minutes into this one.
Oh yeah, let's say it'll be all right on the night, and not so right for Leon Wright at the moment, but he will try to recover. But again, it almost looks like Kevin Ford's just hit the go button and just decided to inject that little bit more pace into the Ford Mustang than he's been showing before.
Yeah, he had to, didn't he? I mean, they're now 5 seconds back. The lap before that,
he had to do it a few laps before.
Yeah, they were only a 3 and a bit back, so they've lost another couple of seconds just this lap with the overtaking and that. So all of a sudden, it looks like Wright's really struggling with these tyres. You know, he lost 3 seconds. Near enough to Mike down that lap, so yeah, can happen, can't it? You can get tyre drop off. Didn't see any mistakes that Leon had made a couple of laps to go that maybe would, you know, lead us to believe that he overheated his tyres or anything like that. So
could be that he just spun them up maybe and just
could be,
or couple of dodgy
just,
corners.
Yeah, or just, you know, not quite as comfortable with the car once it gets a little bit of wear on it as some of the others. You know how setups do make such a big difference, especially to how the car reacts over the long run. Some people really pay attention to the long run pace as opposed to sort of, you know, what they're like for the first 10-15 laps, and makes a big difference in these 90-minute ones.
Yeah, and it is a hot pace at the front. Mike Dam 205.9 on the previous lap. Pasquale Iannucci the same, and Aaron on the same as well. So Adam, it looks like that they're not hanging around at the front of the race, and Mike Dam's just started to stretch the field. As off goes the Mazda of Patrick Crevenas. Yeah, they're just feeling each other out at the moment, but Dam starting to push the limits of the field.
They are lapping extremely quick, but amazingly they've already lost about 1.2, 1.3 seconds to the lap times they were setting at the beginning of the race. That shows you how tyres get eaten up around here. This Japanese tarmac that we have on the iRacing service at the likes of here, the likes of Suzuka and Okayama as well, would like to get Fuji on the iRacing service as well.
That'd be good.
Let me get that in the near future. That's a pretty good track there. Hosted Formula One now 10 years ago, 2008. How long?
Yes.
How has that happened? 2008, 10 years ago. Wow. But yeah, that'd be a good circuit to be on the calendar.
Where did that actually go to? That was obviously a great season in 2008. Just a great season all around, really. Formula One, and yeah, showing some provide some good racing Fuji as well. And I hope it does get added back onto iRacing for the first time. Of course, it's been a lot of other sims over the years. Most notably, of course, Gran Turismo in various different layouts. Alex, we raced there in Apex Racing League Super GTs.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, that series. Good cars.
The main straight
well.
was ridiculous in those cars, wasn't it?
True. Yeah, this is true.
You would start off the lap, you'd come out of the last corner, Adam, in the lead, and you'd be about fifth by the time you got to the hairpin.
Oh, I bet. The amount of slipstreaming that would take place down that straight could do with that in some of these Mustangs.
Oh, the Mustangs would absolutely wet their pants if they had that much slipstream. they wouldn't know what to do with it, to be honest. So, and actually, Alex, we raced here as well, didn't we? I think.
Did we? Might have done. I'm not sure.
I'm pretty sure we did race here too. So and that was an interesting one as well. But then we raced here in our IndyCar series that we did. I had a meatball flag before the start-finish line. Somebody hit me on the warm-up lap. Yeah.
Well,
that was good.
Out of the race is Raymond Vader Jr., someone that managed to get further than that. 10 laps into this one, and it looks like he's just pulled up the car and exited the session. So he's had enough. Maybe he's a Patriots fan.
Oh dear.
It's a bad week for him. Probably not. He's probably not. He's from California, so disregard that.
Well, you never know. Are they the equivalent of? Are they the glory hunting equivalent in American football? I must admit, I actually don't know. I assume they probably are the go-to team for people who know nothing about American football. I'm not saying that Patriots fans know nothing about football, but I'm sure that they get, like it's a bit like the stereotype with Manchester United, isn't it? Where you say, oh, most Manchester United fans are from London. It might be that a lot of Patriots fans are from California. I do not know, but I think it could be. It sounded like a good game. I wasn't able to watch it because of just time out to be up for work and things like that. But it did sound like it was a really, really good game. Congratulations to the Eagles as well. We might have to check on Liam Jenkins because I think he'll be having maybe a week-long celebration after that. So. Yeah, excellent. Mike Down leading the way by 3/4 of a second. And Alex, he's done quite it's something that we haven't seen that often in this series, is that he's been able to keep this small gap kind of intact for a few laps now. He's not necessarily off the front of the group, but he has managed to. He's out of harm's way, isn't he? He's out of reach.
Pit stop as well. Sorry.
Who is it?
Nom.
Nom.
The first to jump. It's funny, isn't it, here, because it puts them to the front, and then as you sort of skip the final corner. But yeah, in. But yeah, you're right. He's just sort of maintaining and actually pulled away just ever so slightly again that lap. I was also looking at the battle that it was the sort of the Ruddock brothers having out there right now, very close to each other.
They're so evenly matched, aren't they?
Katila as well, he's right there. So there's just a few. We don't often cover some of the other battles because they spread apart a lot, but this time they're really sticking quite close to each other. This sort of third pack, you would have it.
It's amazing how evenly matched they are, Adam. Really.
Yeah.
Michael and Russell Ruddock.
They're both driving the Flying Tortoise Motorsports.
That's a great
team.
team. That's a fantastic team name.
Would you say they've broken out of their shell yet?
Ah.
There you go.
Oh.
Don't worry, in my uni class the other day I managed to get a good pun in. I'll mention that later on.
They're a bit quicker. They're a bit quicker than the Tortoise, but hopefully, Alex, they won't be wanting to do any flying here, I must admit, because that usually is something you see in a BSR race.
Yeah, you never know though.
We saw a bit of carnage a couple of weeks ago.
I was about to say, didn't we have one race where we had a bit of carnage? It just all
yeah, we did.
Hell
Was
broke
it,
loose. Yeah.
Was it Sebring?
I think it might have been Sebring, right towards the end.
There was all sorts going on. Oh, and now having a look, Michael Ruddock. If there's any team orders here or not? But see how that pans out. Tyler Schiffler is quite a long way back, surprisingly here.
Sorry, just to interrupt as well. Brian Holmes just made a move on John Allen as well into turn number 1, and now
Allen's got it back.
Alan's got it back on
the lead,
exit, and now go for the lead.
Coming live here, and John Allen, he said he loves this circuit. Takes the lead.
And that kicked him up the rear end, didn't it?
Not over yet though. Here comes a run on the outside there by Rob Hartley.
Travis Frenke's in there as well. You can see him there, the 4th car in the line, number 16.
Madhouse Racing car of Hartley. He was mad to go around the outside there, and now here comes car 58, Brian Holmes in the other Madhouse Racing car.
And Hartley's going to be down to 3rd with Schwenke all over him. He might even take 3rd away from him very soon, Travis Schwenke. That's how it changes in this category, isn't it? It's that's what the Mazda does, really, Alex, isn't it? It kind of just can't really predict a Mazda race.
No, not at all. The minute you minute the do, that's what happens there. You know, the leader drops 2 or 3 places.
John Allen had just been demoted to 3rd. Next minute, he's leading the race, and you know he's all happy again.
Why our rookie races were so entertaining back when we first started on our racing. Probably why they were so frustrating as well.
That's what happens. I still get frustrated in these. Anytime I do like a rookies race or something like that, you know. As it probably says more about me than the car, though. As Alan again hits the brakes, see the carbon disc glowing. That's a great feature of these night races. Adam, you see exactly how much effort the drivers are putting in, all the brake discs glowing and really working the cars hard around here.
Brakes are really working hard. Hopefully they don't fade as the race goes on. Hopefully none of these drivers' brains fade either. This series pretty good in terms of the incident counts. Of course, points, penalties awarded to drivers that breach the very strict incident limits here in this series, and that's why we see such clean racing as Aero Nom continues to work his way back through the field after making his opening pit stop up to 11th position, just passing Michael Monaghan, the open category leader, the Booligan racing car. And Aero Nom, by the way, in the pits for 15.5 seconds. We'll see if anyone else is able to match that time as the pit stops will begin pretty much soon.
Interesting, Alex, actually. I'm looking at the brakes on these MX-5s, and it looks like they're not actually cooling down fully before they've been used again for heavy braking.
Yeah, no, which surprises me actually. But I think that just goes to show that it really is a massive stop-start kind of circuit, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you look through this fast section here, you would really expect to see the disc brakes, you know, cool off a little bit. So
it's literally hard braking.
Yeah,
You know, short,
maybe,
straight, hard braking.
I wonder if that's just a bit of a graphical glitch on iRacing's part there. With it being at night, we can still see it. They've got to cool down so they're not glowing. They can't be that hot, surely.
Feel a bit of the Hungaro ring about this circuit. As for some of the corners,
A little bit.
A few more straights than the Hungaro ring, but yeah.
Alex could be right actually in terms of that, because you'd think they would cool down at the end of this long straight. We'll see what happens here.
There's
in
a
terms
sort
of that. No, they're still glowing slightly.
Yeah, especially especially on the Mustangs, the front brakes are aglow there. Those of you that saw the WRC last week at Monte Carlo would have seen a brake disc on fire. More of that later.
Dear.
That was one of our lot, I think. Not Chris Meek, the Irish one. I've forgotten the name already.
Breen?
But yeah, it was Paul Craig Breen.
Not Chris Meek, the Irish one. Well, I suppose he is Irish, but
Northern
Irish. Yeah. That's it. Dam leads the way. Alex, should we go for a commercial break while it's all lulling a little here?
Yep, let's do it.
Do that. We'll go and now see some of the great products from Ricmotech series sponsor, and we'll see exactly what they have to offer. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to the Ricmotech Sportscar Series here on Apex Racing TV. That's Adam Bath and Alex Simpson from the Twin Ring Motegi circuit in Japan. Ford Mustangs and the Mazda MX-5s, and we're just starting the first round of pit stops. And first full round of pit stops anyway. Pasquale Iannucci in the pits, who was in P2. And said someone else was in as well, Adam.
Just as we went to the break, Clint Vigus came into the pits. 21 second stop for him, 24 second for Pasquale Iannucci, and Jennifer McDonald in the BTL Motorsports car just come into the pits as well for a pit stop too. And all this means Aero Non has now been promoted back up to 7th place. Very quick pit stop from Nom, and I wonder if he's taken 2 tyres just for this middle stint. 15.5 seconds compared to everyone else that's been doing 20 seconds plus.
Could be, but the thing is, because Nom came in very early, right in the thick of the traffic, and what we said at the start of the broadcast obviously was that it's not very easy to pass here, so drivers really got to be thinking about where they're going to come out and knowing exactly what the pit stop time is. I think, Alex, will be very important.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly what the pit lane time is as well. So
yeah, I think because the pit lane is a bit quite short as well, you know, you can get moves done in that. So we'll have to wait and see. Who we had come in, Nom, I mean, was 15.6. That was very short compared to like Iannucci, 24.7. So there's got to be some alternate strategies going on between those two. Clint Viger's 22.1.
Thomas into the pits now. Thomas driving for Driftline Motorsports, currently sits 11th in the standings, so could do a good result today. Leon Wright coming in as well. We were speaking about him earlier on as well. You speak about Aero Nom's early pit stop. This is his 5th lap now. He's about to start his 5th lap on his 2nd stint. So yeah, he has been on this 2nd stint for quite a while now. We'll see if he's able to get past Thomas and Wright while they serve their pit stops.
Do that fairly quickly. Looking at the Masters again, and it's John Allen still leading. But Brian Holmes very, very close. Just a couple of tenths behind. And I wonder if he's going to try and make a move. He's looking like he's definitely looking to make a move now, Adam. He's moving out from the slipstream. Or is he? Maybe not.
John Allen leading the way then in the Defined Autoworks Car 1 at Daytona, the opening race of the season, a 90-minute endurance race there. Brian Holmes has also won. That was last week, I think, at Sebring. See what he can do now. And just in the blinking of an eye, Rob Hartley's closed right back onto these two again. It just looked like it was these two fighting for the lead for a while, but now Rob Hartley's back onto the rear chain.
Sorry, it's amazing how that happens in these cars, isn't it? Just have maybe one corner where somebody has to slow at the front, and then suddenly they lose half a second to a second, and these guys come back and back in the fray.
That middle sector, isn't it? If you run side by side through there, or you start battling the car in front going into that corner, then you are going to lose time. And yeah, we can see what's happened as a result. All 4 of these cars staying out again, as we're expecting. We're expecting a very late pit stop in both cases for the MX-5s, as Mike Dam comes into the pits from the lead, and I wonder where Aero Nom is going to come in response. Nom's just coming down the back straight now as Dam comes down the pit lane. Ford also in.
It seems that Holmes is one of those drivers, Alex, who just seems to, doesn't really matter what he's driving, he seems to put in consistent performances and be somewhere near the front.
Yeah, relentless, isn't he, with his consistency in that department. Every series that we cover him in as well.
Here comes Nom then down the front straight. Dam is still getting the tyres changed.
Yeah, so Nom's going through. That was a quick stop, wasn't it, from Nom? Dam was 22.7 seconds, so roughly around about what Iannucci was. So you can see Pat is going to come out just in front of Pat there. Thomas was a little bit quicker than him as well, so that's why he got past. So
good stuff from Thomas
so
to get through.
Curveballs, being thrown here with the strategy, so that's going to make our job interesting.
Yeah, we're going to have to keep an eye on this one then.
Almost certain it's been it was a 2-tyre stop for Aero Nom. You can only explain why the 15.5 seconds, but then again, as you're saying, it could be fuel. I might just quickly rewind back myself and see how many tyres he took for you, so I can get a definitive answer.
Holmes still looking at his move. Maybe not. That whole pack just has left Giblis for sort of dead now. He's dropped back 6.2 seconds back, so top 4 are going to be.
I can confirm that Aero Nom only took 2 tyres, left sides only, in the first pit stop. Onto the front straight then, come the Mazda MX-5s again, top 4. Throw a blanket over them as they come over the line. It's Allen, then it's Holmes, then it's Hartley, and then it is Travis Schwenke. Penalty box for car 78, and that is our race leader, Aero Nom. Shortcutting the pit lane entry, but it does say a warning at the end, so it looks like it was just a warning. Just a warning for Aero Nom for cutting the pit lane entry.
It is a weird pit lane entry here, in the way that it is. I assume that instead of taking the little chicane bit, Alex has decided he's not going to bother with that and just going to go straight across it.
I imagine so, or he just got it all wrong. I don't think it would have been a deliberate thing, but yeah.
Also a warning being dished out to Leon Wright. Currently sits in 13th place, 6 positions lost. 2 visits to the pits as well for Leon Wright, so maybe sped in the pit lane, sped on the exit of the pit lane, I should say. Yes, and he's been given a warning as well.
The same. That's the same for the same thing, actually. Yeah. So shortcut the pit lane entry. We'll keep an eye on it. If anybody else ends up doing that at some point, but don't think these guys will have to stop again. It's going to be close, but I think they can do it in one.
Yeah, they pitted. We are just approaching the halfway mark in the race. Yeah, 15 minutes to go here, so we are 40 minutes into this one. Yeah, approaching the halfway distance, and we'll see how far these Mustangs can go. As we said at the beginning of the program, they have taken a full tank of fuel in the pit stop. We'll see how far they can get in this second stint, and he'll be in.
There's a move going on here. And Matthew Catila has gone through on Tyler Shiflett, so Shiflett's mediocre race continues because Catila is going through, and he is through now, I think. Oh no, Shiflett's fighting back into the S's. Catila to the outside now, the inside. Good battle this, or what was 10th and 11th places.
Unfortunately, while this battle's going on, we've got everyone in the Mazdas, apart from John Allen.
Oh, well, John Allen, we know John Allen doesn't always want to use the same strategy as everybody else.
Hartley in, Holmes in, Liston, Schwenke in, as again, Katina and Shipwreck go into battle.
Oh, it's been a spin, and it's Michael Ruddock.
Ruddock in the flying tortoise.
Oh, and it's still going on between Catila and Shiflett. Shiflett moves across just in front of Catila. Not want to relinquish that pace. Tyler Shiflett is a front runner in the series a season or two ago, Alex, and it just doesn't seem to be happening for him this season.
Yeah, maybe just a bit of lack of time to prep. Yeah, to prep for a race, I think. Probably what's doing it.
Yeah, Tyler Shiflett, 4th in the championship standings going into this one, just 1 point behind Kevin Ford in the Shake and Bake racing car, but he's running down the order today in 8th position. Right, race off pit road in the Mazda MX-5s. Travis Schwenke beat out Brian Holmes and Rob Hartley, and a bit of a gap has emerged between those 3 as well after the pit stop. So Schwenke in 2nd, Holmes 3rd, Hartley 4th.
It was just a spin for Michael Ruddock. Unfortunately, ended up backing into the pit wall. As he tried to bring the car to a stop, so rear wing damage now, which isn't going to help him for the rest of the race.
Wing damage, you know all about that. Exploits at the Le Mans 24 hours, but I'm sure the Mustang wings are a bit more robust than our ones. Everyone has pitted then in the Mustangs, waiting for John Allen to come into the pits, and here he comes. So we'll see if Travis Schwenke's got a good outlap, and whether he's going to be able to leapfrog John Allen, who won at Daytona, hoping to win here at round 4 as he hits his marks and the fuel begins to flow into that Mazda MX-5.
Yeah, we'll see how good the in lap was as well for Don Allen. And
Thank you then.
We've seen Alex many times over the years in Formula 1 just how important the in-laps and the out-laps are.
Super critical. It's a slow one for Alan. Not used to him being one of the longer ones, so he's really crammed every last bit of fuel in it that he can. 32.7 seconds.
Down. I think he's going to take it. Take the lead here.
There's the green cone. You can't accelerate until you get past it. There he goes. Going to be fourth position as Hartley goes through as well. Just
fourth position now.
I reckon Alan has got every last bit of fuel into that car now.
And every last tyre that he can as well, it seems too.
Yeah.
So full complement of tyres and fuel. Yeah. It's makes it very, very interesting indeed. Like I said, John Allen tends to go against the grain when it comes to strategy. Alex, what do you think? What do you think he's got in mind here then? Just having the best performance he can for the final stint?
Well, that's all he needs to do, really, isn't it? So, I think
it's going to be tough for the rest of them to make it. But do you think John Allen can now make it?
I think John. Obviously, he's 2 laps extra. You know, filled it with fuel. I think if anyone can make it, John can. Maybe some of the other guys, maybe Travis is thinking, well, look, I can't make it, so I'm gonna take a shorter thing right now and then just do a little splash at the end. Yeah, it's gonna be tough to see. I mean, could be able to, shouldn't they? They're like 45.
Oh, he's gone off. Oh.
It's not quite halfway, is it? It's gonna be tough, you know. I mean, he's going to need to save a bit more fuel.
30 seconds away from halfway. Battle for the lead in the main categories on as well. 1.2 seconds at the start of the last lap. It's down to 0.4 of a second now, and I wonder if these are the two tyres just starting to struggle a little bit now. Ferrero on.
Yeah, potentially so. Too many laps. I mean, he was in quite early, wasn't he, Nom? So
yeah, he's 10 laps into his stint.
12, yeah, so lap 11, sorry, so...
those right side tyres have got 22 laps underneath them.
Very interesting to see what happens. I've got absolutely no idea. And that's the beauty of it in this series. We never truly know what we're gonna get as we're looking at Aeronom trying to resist Mike Dam here.
Going onto the banking now. Mike Dam just running a bit wide there, using a lot of the curve on the exit. The circuit, of course, over the Japanese MotoGP race. Yeah. After for the last 15 or so years now, after Suzuka was deemed too unsafe.
Yeah, that's right, and that in itself is a shame, but we wouldn't have the great racing that we get at Motegi, I think, as well. We get some racing in the MotoGP here. Stephen Thomas and Patty Iannucci putting on a great race as well. 3rd and 4th places. It is amazing how out of the front drivers just decided they were going to let loose the pace that they had, and they made 30 seconds on that second group. It's unbelievable.
It is a trend that we do tend to see at the last few races this season. We start off with everyone pretty tightly packed together, and then after a few laps, it's almost like the road cycling that we've got on at the moment. The guys at the front just think, right, let's go, let's make a breakaway. We are the quickest drivers out there, and there they go. Leon Wright versus Jennifer McDonald. That looks like Leon Wright through. Leon Wright driving for in the One Wild One racing car, getting past Jennifer McDonald in the BTL Motorsports car, and that's Wright cracking the top 10, 3 positions lower than where he started. He's on his way up after having to make a second visit to the pits for what I can presume is speeding exiting the pit lane.
And well, penalties can be a killer as well.
No pit lane speed limits in these Mustangs, I don't think.
No limiter, is it?
No limiter, yeah. Definitely a limit.
No speed limits. They can go as fast as they want because that's how slow they are. Yeah, I mean, I still find it crazy that 20 25 years ago or so, there were no pit lane speed limits in Formula One. I find it absolutely mental that was the case. I mean, you look at where some of the old pit lanes were as well, looking at, say, Spa is the one that comes to mind.
Oh,
where it was
Rams
right.
pit lane.
It was, but there was no dividing wall between the pit lane and the circuit. So the drivers would be going towards Eau Rouge, and the pit lane was just there on the right hand side, and everyone was in danger. As now the leader's in danger for aero knob. Mike Dam really closing in. He pokes the nose out just so he can get a better view. Maybe so he can try to put aero knob off.
It is amazing that hairpin that we've just been through there, no driver wants to lunge up the inside there because the car on the outside can just power through on the exit.
Yeah, and this is the long straight that's coming next. We'll see, is Mike Dam close enough to do anything down here? No, he isn't, and it's just the nature of the circuit that sometimes, you might just can't get through because the car in front always on the power that half a second before you, and that's the problem.
I think even in the days of karts, when Nigel Mansell moved up from F1 to American racing, they had no pit lane speed limits on their circuits, and they raced on quite a few street circuits as well back in the early 90s. But yeah, this battle for the lead.
Was that the case, Alex? Is that right? Because I know you're a big fan of the Mansell IndyCar days.
Sorry, Adam, I just kind of missed that. I was just getting myself back with the headset on.
We were just talking about
pit lane speed limits, and Adam was saying he doesn't think there were any stay around the time that Mansell went to IndyCar.
No, I'm pretty sure there was.
Was there on the street circuits, or was it just on the ovals where they had the speed
might have
limits?
just been on the ovals, actually. Yeah, you might be right.
But yeah, I was just saying that I find it amazing that just 25 years ago on some tracks there were absolutely no speed limit. You know, in some series like even Formula One in the early 90s.
That's really, wasn't it? Yeah.
Crazy speeds that they were, going at down the pit lane, 100 miles an hour or more, and you just think, wow, no wonder it was dangerous. No wonder people got... I mean, I don't know, were there any major incidents of anyone getting injured in the pits apart from the Imola one? You probably know.
Not that comes to my mind, I have to say.
No. It is quite amazing. Until 1994, when the fuel regulations came back in, your normal mechanics that were changing the tyres were still in their t-shirts and shorts.
Well, yeah, they might as well have been on a beach holiday or something at some point.
I mean, you'll be seeing that now.
I mean, can you imagine if they'd have still been in the t-shirts and shorts when the Jos Verstappen business literally went up?
That's what they're thinking about, really, does it? Some amazing pictures. I was watching a documentary on LAT Images, the people that them and Sutton Images, the two main image providers for F1, and some of the shots they had during the '94 German Grand Prix when that fire kicked off. Quite amazing.
Unbelievable, and it was just a big shock to everyone. I remember watching it on TV. One of my first seasons watching F1, and it was like I say, because of the refueling, it was like you'd never seen before anything happening like that. It's happened once or twice since then. I remember it happened to Jean-Marie Bruni in 2004, and it happened. And there've been quite a lot of small fighters. Michael Schumacher had one in Austria in 2000.
We had Austria 03, I think. I remember when Kimi Räikkönen took his... It was Heikki Kovalainen that took his fuel hose with him, and then that sprayed fuel all over Kimi Räikkönen's car, and that burst into flames.
I do remember that. I think it was...
Brazil 09.
I think it was... was it Kovalainen? Was it?
Kovalainen and McLaren.
I do remember Massa took his fuel hose with him.
That was a disaster.
Singapore. Yeah.
Well, for the people in the red corner, it was anyway.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That or the blown engine at Hungary. I think that might have been more blown. That might have blown the championship more.
Kovalainen won that one.
Yeah, he did. 3 laps to go as well. Massa was leading that one, and it went south. Does seem to be the case. Going back through the recent years, Ferrari's championship chances hampered by engine issues. Schumacher was on course for an 8th world title at Japan in 2006. Engine blew up there, handed Fernando Alonso the title right when ITV were on a commercial break as well.
Oh dear! On a scale of 1 to 10, Adam, as the race enters the final third, scale of 1 to 10, how excited are you for the new F1 season? Because I know a lot of people are a little sceptical, but I thought last season was good, and I'm thinking it will be a little better this time.
Testing isn't too far away, is it? And reminding myself that we've got McLaren, of course, now with Renault engines, which means that they're going to be almost for certain higher up the grid than they were with Honda. If not, it's dire luck for them. But I'm looking forward to seeing what Red Bull can do as well. And hopefully last season with Ferrari wasn't just a one-off, and they can continue to push Mercedes all the way. And I hope that Lewis Hamilton gets a bit more nervous. We saw him crack under pressure quite a few times last season, and hopefully more of the same this season.
What are we thinking, Alex, in terms of, do you think there's going to be a lot more teams competing at the front, or do you think it's going to be kind of similar to what we've seen?
Well, I mean, I certainly hope McLaren do well, but it would be such law that the Honda suddenly comes good.
And Toro Rosso start getting good results. Yeah, that is
exactly.
Probably, it would not surprise me at all, to be honest. The way Fernando Alonso's career seems to go.
Just while we're talking about this, you've seen the battle that's going on between Leon Wright, Tyler Schiffler, and Cadilla. That's a great little battle.
No, not that one actually. I saw the one between Holmes and Spanky for the lead, which had actually swapped around the last couple of laps off camera.
And also Dam and Nom are getting very close. But yeah I think I really do hope Ferrari, just step up just a tiny little bit again, so we have a really, really good championship. As to Red Bull, because I really want to see all 3 cars, 3 teams battling it out. It just reminds me of, what was it, the 2012 season when we had all those different winners. That's kind of what I want to see.
We need the Pirelli tyres to do their business again, because that really helped the beginning of 2012 to be so predictable. What's happened?
Oh, hello.
Damers is in the pits. Second pit stop's beginning. I was worried then. I thought he crashed.
I saw some smoke, and I thought he'd gone into the gravel or something, but no, he's in the pits.
Of course, we'll have the halo. Interested to see what the teams are going to do with it. We've seen from the new Formula E car that it can look stylish if the car looks right. But hopefully the Formula 1 cars look okay. The Indy car with the windscreen.
I liked the idea of painting the halo in the colour of the driver's helmet or something similar, so that we can at least tell, because I think unfortunately one of the great things in F1 of being able to tell who the driver is just by looking, the helmet is going to be a lot harder to do, I think, this time. But I think Alex is right. I mean, 2012 was a great season. You had Ferrari, you had McLaren, you had Mercedes, Lotus were up there, and Red Bull, of course. And then I want a battle like 2003 again, where it was a 3-team battle to the very end of the season. Red Bull could definitely provide it. McLaren, I think they can spring. I mean, their slogan for the season is what, be brave, isn't it, or something like that. So I think it's going to be I reckon they're going to take some risks. And Alex, I know you're a McLaren fan, aren't you? So I think it's going to be quite a big season for them.
Yeah, well, here's hoping. That's for sure.
Gosh, Venky's taken the lead. Just as we were talking there, he's gone around the outside of Brian Holmes. We've got some Mustang traffic fight in amongst them as well, as how they go into the second half of the lap. And this could be the opportunity for Schwenke to break here, because this is when the Mazda's quicker, this part of the circuit, and they can't get by.
Yeah, and he's kind of using. We were talking about the the American football earlier on, that's kind of a blocker for Travis Svenke, isn't he? Is Russell Ruddock leading the way through the pack almost, and Svenke, yeah, he's trying to break away, but I feel like it's futile in this car.
The olders
Really
in the
gonna
line of
struggle.
stern again, aren't they? Yeah, it's
I don't remember the last Mazda race actually where
a
we did have
foregone
a driver.
conclusion. Yeah.
We did have a driver even get away by 2 or 3 seconds in the early. I say the early going, so the first hour.
Right then, Mike Dam has made his pit stop and he has emerged ahead of Aero Nom, and this is all because of the difference in
quite
pit stop
some
times.
distance.
Yeah, 14.5 seconds for Mike Dam, his pit stop, 21.7 for Aero Nom. Maybe that is the 4 tyres. That is the 4 tyres being done. It's the other way around. Aero Nom taking 2 tyres this time. Sorry, Mike Dam taking 2 tyres this time. Aero Nom taking the 4 in the second pit stop.
Be interesting to see how that plays out, because Mike caught up pretty quickly because of those tyres, so maybe Nom will do the same. I can't recall the gap being 6 seconds though before. I think Mike only caught up about 4, so it's going to be tough for Nom to work his way back to him. It's also going to be interesting to see what Thomas and Iannucci do as well, because they might just slot into that gap.
Mike Dam then in the Dam Motorsports car, the effective race leader. Aero Nom driving for Team Bushfink in second place effectively. Travis Schwenke has been into the pits in the Asbury Motorsports car. He's made his second visit to the pits. We were expecting the Mazdas to come in with about 5 or 10 minutes to go, but he has decided to come in after 8 or so laps, and yeah, he's going to be going for a long second stint in this race here.
Could be that
Ian as well.
Could be that he's trying to make better use of the tyres. We'll see what happens maybe over a longer period of time.
Right, saying that, into the pits comes Pasquale Iannucci, Team Potato, taking the equivalent of quite a few potatoes in fuel.
Put Vigas in as well. 7.5 seconds off the lead. Well, not a bad race for Vigas. It's going to drop down the order, of course, here.
There goes Iannucci, 21.4 seconds. Sorry, 22.8. Vigas away as well. Both 4 tyres in fuel for those two.
Nom's clear and well gone. The front 2 well disappeared. So if let's have a look at the last lap times. No, we need to wait, don't we, until the next lap to get an idea of where it is. I'm still an out lap for Nom. 5.4. It's come down a little bit from when they first left the pits. That's for sure.
206 dead.
Sorry,
for Dam. That I believe is that's not the worst lap in the world. There, we'll wait and see, of course, when they come around again and see what the lap time's like.
Not bad. It's not amazing, but we'll have to see. Got any pace left in car number 93? Ryan Cobb in the race control has had a fairly quiet evening, Alex. Actually, no investigations for crashing, just a couple of infractions on the pit lane entry. So it seems like several people are doing it.
That's
car
it, yeah.
71 is the latest, and that will
Vigas.
be good Vigas.
Just keeps an eye on that, doesn't he? I think that's going to be his go-to. Everybody's being very well behaved tonight.
Yeah,
Imagine
I think you're right. It's a bit unusual.
Just
for
imagine
everyone
Ryan's,
to be.
yeah, Ryan standing at pit entry, just watching them all go in.
Like a judge at a long jump competition, going no.
White flag in the red flag,
no.
yeah.
And basically, that's kind of all he's had to do tonight, which is good because it shows that the driving's been excellent. And yeah, we haven't seen any collisions. We usually see. I mean, you know, there's still time for that, of course, but we usually see at least 1 or 2 dust ups. Alex, I'm a little disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. We're just so accustomed with it with the BSR. We want to see 1 or 2.
Don't want to see any Scott Speed behaviour.
Well,
Too soon, maybe. I don't know. No, to be honest, no. What a fruitcake!
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I don't. You know, iRacing, they put a lot of effort in with him, and help. You know, and they've done promotional things with him, and then drives like a tick, gets kicked off the service, and wonders why. So, you know, whatever. Go away. We don't need you in sim racing if you're going to be like that. There you go.
Oh, then into the pits come both flying tortoise cars, Russell Ruddock and Mike Ruddock, in for their second visit to the pits. Race order though, after the second round of pit stops have been completed, is that Mike Dam leads, second Aeronom. The gap is coming down. The gap's down to 4.4 seconds now. Then in third it's Stephen Thomas. Fourth is Pasquale Iannucci. Down the order a little bit now. And then Kevin Ford in fifth, Vigas in sixth. Still waiting for the second round of pit stops for the majority of the Mazda cars. Schwenke the only car in on that one. And yeah, still waiting for Holmes, Hartley and Allen to come in for their second visits to the pits. And lap time comparison, Mike Dam 2:05.3, Aeronom 2:04.7. So that is a half a second difference. And we'll wait and see if the gap continues to come down.
No doubt as well.
Well, there is no doubt.
Having a little look at the battle between Allen. Allen's caught back up with Hartley and Holmes as well, so it's full on. Travis, first one to jump for the second stop. So going to be. These four are going to be locked in to a battle again, aren't they?
Having his own battle as well with Jim List. Travis Schwenke is as it goes on, or maybe is that just Schwenke catching and passing? I think that's what it is. Yeah, here come Brian Holmes, Rob Hartley. Brian Holmes goes wide, going through the penultimate corner. Wonder if they're going to take the opportunity to pit now. We were told at the beginning of the show that they'll be coming in late, and in they come. Right then, this is going to be a race off pit road then for the win. We'll wait and see where Travis Schwenke is. Allen stayed out, so he's carrying on his way. But it's going to be Brian Holmes versus Rob Hartley here. Two winners this season against Travis Schwenke, who is yet to win. Yet to win one.
Be a good race off of pit road, shouldn't it? Between Holmes and Hartley. Away goes Holmes.
13.1 for Holmes, 13.7 for Hartley. Where is Schwenke? Schwenke yet to win a race this season, by the way.
Yeah, even though he's threatened to do that, pretty much every meeting we've been to, he's been close.
Oh, they're both ahead of him.
Yeah. Thought that would be closer, I must admit, but they got out the pit lane quickly. Yeah, Travis Schwenke is got some work to do now, hasn't he? So we'll see what he can do with just under half an hour to go.
Gap down to 3.5 seconds now between Mike Dam and Aeronom. 2:06.2 for Dam, 2:05.1. So that's nearly a second there by Aeronom. So Nom is coming with 23 minutes to go. Jim List fancies the position back off Travis Schwenke as a warning is handed out to car 58, and that is Brian Holmes for shortcutting the pit lane entry.
Yeah, he's had a good recovery, Jim List, even though the first part of the race was not. He started off quite well for him, didn't it? And then he dropped down. Just managing to take that position away from Schwenke, so good job by Jim List, car 65.
Make the long trip across the Pacific Ocean for the next race meeting, which is at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca next week.
Yeah, it's always a good circuit, that. We should have some good racing, especially in that final sector where the Mazda is always very strong. Schwenke trying around the outside of Jim List. Oh, and he's gone through. That's really good from Travis Schwenke around the outside. Tremendous job. Yeah, can he keep it though? Jim List right in the slipstream. Got a good overspeed here. Is he going to have a look into the hairpin at the bottom of the hill? Sorry, not really a hairpin, is it? But kind of acts like one.
Jim List driving for List Racing. Schwenke runs very wide. He's going to take the DRS board with him. And onto the finish straight they go.
The DRS here, although the slipstream tends to act like one in this car. But if List can hang on to Schwenke, Alex, he might find that he ends up getting near that lead battler once again.
Yeah, I have no doubts that Travis will really be on it now, and it only takes a little bit of traffic. And those guys are going to bunch up, and maybe Hartley and Holmes might have a little battle. They'll be on them in no time, so not over yet at all.
We're waiting, of course, for John Allen to come in, and
Jim List is due another stop, isn't he? Unless he's been fuel saving.
Yeah, you are right. He has been on his stint for 12 laps, and yeah, he's yet to make a second visit to the pits. So wait and see. John Allen, of course, yet to make a second visit to the pits as well, and maybe that might help Schwenke close up once he's back in the mix as well. The gap between Allen and Brian Holmes right now is, Will Vincent then, is 28 seconds, and a pit lane time in a Mazda is about just over 30 seconds. So it looks like Allen's going to relinquish the lead when he comes in for his second pit stop. If he comes in for his second pit stop, we'll wait and see if he does.
Yeah, and that'll be a bit of a good decision if he manages to make it to the end, I think, because next car is Joe Boyd. Boyd is, have a look, quite some distance away, isn't he, really? So yeah, interesting. See what happens there with Joe Boyd. Joe Boyd, in fact, has got his hands full, speaking of which, car 4, and he's got Chris Sorman and Dan Corrido just behind him. That's the battle currently for 6th, 7th and 8th in class. And Corrido's been hit by Stephen Thomas. Thomas, who's in 3rd place in the Mustang category. Alex getting a little bit well, I don't know really, just getting in a bit of a mess there with Corrido.
Yeah, and puts himself under pressure, doesn't he? We can see that Iannucci's right there now.
Yeah, and that's what they need to do. That's what Iannucci needs to do, just keep the pressure on now, because Thomas has had a little mistake. He might have a little bit of damage, and just trying to see exactly what his rival's got at this point in the race, Adam. Yeah,
both fighting for a final spot on the podium as well. And a good opportunity for Stephen Thomas to get quite a bit of points. He sits 11th in the championship standings going into this one, the Driftline racing car. And he'll be hoping he can keep onto it here as he tries to get past car 4. That is car 4, that is Joe Boyd.
Oh, he goes really wide. Does Stephen Thomas. But it seems like a few drivers now are using that outside, using that grassy line. Probably not on purpose, Alex, although you never know. I don't know.
Yeah,
they've been watching BSR Rallycross.
Well, you never know, yeah. I wouldn't have thought so. I thought it'll be a little bit slower, so.
As long as the rejoins are fine. I've remembered some dodgy rejoins off that final corner.
No, dodgy rejoins everywhere. I've seen in other series, not so much in this one. Kevin Ford gets past Dan Corrido as well. Kevin Ford in 5th place at the moment. One of the league admins, of course.
No wonder he does so well. The charge between Mike Dam and Aero Nommers stagnated a little bit. The gap remains at 3 seconds, and last time around Aero Nom was only marginally quicker than the Canadian Mike Dam. So it looks like he's been able to use the majority of the early life out of those new tyres. It's got the gap down to just under 3 seconds. It's going to be a bit harder now for him to make that gap come down a little bit more inside the final quarter of an hour.
Yeah, it's been another Mike Dam masterclass, hasn't it, up to this point now. Whether he completes it or not, Alex, I don't know. Nobody knows, of course, but going again now, just over the whole. He's got every single phase of the race covered in terms of, doesn't really have any bad areas, and I think that's where the other drivers are struggling compared to him, is that he's very strong at the start. He nails the pit stops. He doesn't really make that many mistakes. He does have he's got really good late race pace as well.
Yeah, a complete package. I think that's why he's won a few championships now. So.
But usually with the champion, you'll find something that they're really not that good at. But with Mike Dam, that doesn't seem to really apply.
Maybe, very consistent
maybe getting through the traffic. That might be his only slight point, that he's maybe not as good as some of the others. But you're only talking margin.
Keeps him going though, doesn't he? That's the thing. Yeah.
But it is pretty special, Adam, watching him drive every week with such quality and with such control as well, really, because he can easily overdrive, especially in an hour and a half race. We've all done the same thing.
It's amazing, really, because he always seems to be so consistent, lap in, lap out. I've just had the camera on him for the last 5 or 6 laps, and literally can't see him making too many errors, not going offline at all, really, just doing what he can with the slightly worn tyres that he's got on his car now. 8 laps into this stint, and the other as he blinks in and out, then maybe that is his weakness. The internet,
the internet connection. We have seen that can be a problem. Alex, your races, of course, in the Pro Series, in the World Championship, they're about this length, an hour and 30 minutes, and just how difficult is it? Keep that concentration up, get every phase of the race right. When you're under pressure, you're fighting for the championship, and you've got to make sure you don't bottle it, essentially. What's the key to that?
Yeah, I mean, these guys have done enough of these races now that it's not such an issue for them, and I think I remember when I was first doing the sort of the testing for sort of like the normal sort of Pro Series.
Wide goes, it's Michael Key going off as he's being lapped. Sorry, Alex.
Yeah, that it was tough to step up from sort of like an hour race to a 90-minute race then. But now, a 90-minute race is pretty straightforward. So I think these guys will have done enough of them now that it's not going to be too bad. They're not going to, concentration isn't going to be too much of an issue. But yeah, I mean, I think in this situation where Nom is only 3.5 seconds behind, it's going to keep Dam really focused. If he was 15 seconds behind, for example, that's where I think mistakes could happen, because you're kind of like, well, I can just cruise, and just takes his eye off the ball and just starts thinking about other things. So right now, Nom's going to be pushing because he knows he can. Any mistake from Dam, he's going to be able to capitalize on that, and then vice versa with Dam. Really knows that any mistake's going to be punished. So both these drivers will be just on hyper alert right now.
Because obviously over the last 7 years, you've been in a lot of championship fights and various different series and whatever. And how do you make sure you're always bringing excellent performance to every race meeting? I mean, obviously practice. I know you're going to say practice, but what sort of things do you do, or what maybe Mike Dam is doing, maybe mentally, to get through these races?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Mike has done a fair bit of preparation in terms of knowing his fuel numbers, things like that. So nothing's
John
really
Allen pits from the lead,
right, and stays in the lead.
9.5
seconds. The pit stop time.
Very good.
Sorry, Alex. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I just think he would. I feel like Mike is one of those kind of people that preps everything. He knows what his pit stop strategy is going to be going in. Some alternate strategy maybe as well, like pit stop length times, that you lose and all that sort of stuff.
If this happens, I'll pit here. If this happens,
exactly.
I'll pit here.
Yeah, I feel like he goes through all that prep work, and that is important. And for like the Pro Series, we really go into detail with all the prep work just to make sure we know going in what it was like. Of course, in the majors just last week, it was like I had no clue what we were going to do. Didn't even know how long a pit stop time was going to be. So, and I fell short. I made a mistake really with the strategy, and that's kind of what you get. So, It's so important to do all that.
Excellent. And but John Allen looks like he's bringing champions mentality into the 2018 season, Adam.
Yeah, really good strategy. We'll see if it works over the final 12 minutes. That 9.5 seconds worth of fuel, is it going to be enough to get him home? We saw Michael Key going off a bit earlier on. He drives for No Clue Motorsports. John Allen seems to be pretty clued up on what he's got to do and to get this victory done. Of course, let's not forget,
self-deprecating team name, that, isn't it?
It's a bit like my the quiz name that I always pick whenever I go to a pub or.
Yeah, he's always the worst one possible. Yeah.
Expect Toulouse, spelled after the rugby team. Copyright Adam Bath there.
There you go. Somebody will nick that. But we've seen Alan run out of fuel in the past, so you know we do always have this concern. But it hasn't been any time recently when it's happened, and you know he did well at Daytona, of course, winning that one, and he just seems like a different driver this season, Alex, in terms of what he's bringing to the table. It's like he's refocused and really kind of applied himself to this.
Yeah, very much so. Just seems to be. I always like to throw the odd strategy, didn't he? But it just seems this season they seem to be paying off a little bit more. I mean, obviously
he's got the practice of those, though, hasn't he? He's tried them.
Yeah,
he knows what works.
Yeah,
he knows
exactly.
what doesn't work.
We have to be careful. We don't want to say anything too soon because you just never know.
It still hasn't worked, has it? Because we haven't got to the checkered flag. That bit of cloth with the white and black little squares on it. That's the bit that you need to look for. And John Allen, of course, is not quite there yet, and they are closing in on him slowly. Adam as well. Brian Holmes has got to within about 2 seconds.
He did win the last hour and a half race, the last 90-minute race at the start of the season at Daytona. Was that by 1,000th of a second, or was that in the Mustang category that was that close? I think it was in the Mustang category, but we'll see if it's going the same way in this class, because yeah, Brian Holmes and Rob Hartley are starting to close in. If anything, the gap actually looks like it's coming down corner by corner here as we start to get towards the end. It looks like it's not going to be the day for Travis Schwenke to get his first win of the season. Currently sits 7.6 seconds behind John Allen with 9 minutes to go.
Allen going off, then the exit of the right-hand hairpin. That pressure you talked about, Alex, it might be manifesting itself on our screen right now.
Yeah, down to 1.2 seconds. He had that gap. And let it slip away. And we know how good Holmes and Hartley are.
The slipstream can come into play as well if they can get
right
it.
Now.
So he needs to nail this lap, doesn't he? Make sure that does not happen. But I think that ship might have sailed, and I think Brian Holmes now will get the advantage of some draft. And however small, diminish John Allen's lead even further, and he goes wide a little bit, but it does allow a better exit from turn 1.
9.5 seconds, fuel only for John Allen.
Well, his goose is cooked in terms of breaking away. He's probably is fuel only, looking at the difference in lap times. But yeah, he's not going to break away anytime soon. So his only hope now, Alex, is that he stays with these two drivers. It's funny saying that, isn't it? Because he's still in the lead. But the only hope is that he stays in this pack, and that maybe he goes for it at the very end of the race.
Yeah, I think you're right. You know, they've come on him so quickly, and yeah, I just think
here he comes now. He's going for the lead, Holmes, Alex. Look.
Yeah, I have to say, I think if Allen drops anything further than second place, his goose is cooked. So he needs to really hold.
Stream, though.
Yeah,
not the grip.
I think if he drops to third, behind Hartley as well, I don't think he'll find his way back to the front. He needs to make sure he maintains over first or second here, and he needs to defend like crazy.
Well, he needs Hartley and Holmes to battle.
Yep.
What he needs is these two to knock spots off each other and give him the lead back that he requires. And Hartley and Holmes, I don't know, it seems like they're always there at the end. Pretty much every race we cover in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series ends with these two battling in some shape or form. And it's happening again here at Twin Ring Motegi.
Well, it's no surprise that the three drivers that have won races this season in the Ricmotech Sports Car Series in the Mazdas are 1, 2, 3 here, with 7 minutes and 20 seconds to go. John Allen, he's either got no life left in the tyres, or maybe he's just saving a little bit of fuel so that he can go gung-ho for the final few laps. But either way, he's got these two really bearing down on him as we come across the line. Lap time, John Allen does a 2:12.1, 2:11.1 for Hartley, 2:11.8 Brian Holmes. So Allen failing to get inside the 2:11s, and yeah, he's now having to make sure that Hartley and Holmes don't get by. He seems to have the upper hand on the second half of the lap, and that's because that's when Brian Holmes seems to attack Rob Hartley.
Yeah, and we'll be hoping that he does that again as he gets a real twitch through the double apex left-hander. Travis Frenkie, John Allen, fighting with all his being to try and keep this lead. We've seen drivers go around the outside at this hairpin corner. Travis Frenkie, as I mentioned earlier on, did manage to do that. And Hartley trying to use the momentum now, which is on his side. And Holmes, I wonder if he's going with... Oh, he's going to go as well, is he, Holmes? Thinking about it.
Looks good right now.
Right now, so goes Allen.
Allen's still fighting. He's not giving up anytime soon.
There we go. Needs to cover off.
Look at this. He can't cover both of them, though. That's the problem. Nearly a pincer movement. You can see his car just sliding slightly more on slightly older rubber. Alex said, we're going to go 3 wide for the lead here. Oh, Rob Hartley
got out of that,
decides
didn't
to
he,
back out of that. That was a sensible move by Rob Hartley. Tell you what, we're going to have a cracking finish. Mike Dam does lead by 3.3 seconds, so I don't think anything's going to happen at the front there. So I think we should just stick with this until the end. And here comes Holmes. He senses the chance. This could be the opportunity to strike the killing blow in the race to John Allen. Allen still survives, and he proves you can defend in this Mazda MX-5, Adam.
One great thing about this final sector is that if you stay on the inside, you pretty much have the position. It does really take a wonder move around the outside if you're going to get the position done there, like Brian Holmes was trying. He's got the slipstream. Here he goes.
He's not defending the inside. He got planned. That's why. He's going to go all the way round the outside. Just breaks traction slightly, but he's still alongside Alex. Great exit.
Yeah, and he's got the inside now for the slower of the two corners. That's perhaps what he was thinking here. Hartley can't really do anything.
Holmes tries to squeeze slightly. Not able to do that in the end, but Allen still maintains it. Hartley's watching, waiting and trying to figure out which way to go himself. Is he going to think about the inside? I mean, he could do it. He could do it, but he's such an don't know. It's a risky move, but do you have to take these risks at this point? I don't know.
If it was the BSR MX-5, I'm sure that whoever was on that inside would have gone at the inside.
100%, 100%, 1000%. And now Holmes going to make a decisive move. And Allen still has the overlap. He still has the opportunity to take the win here. Rob Hartley's thinking about the inside as well and thinking about the middle. And John Allen very late on the brakes. And the skill involved here is absolutely tremendous between these three.
Oh, a little wiggle there as well from Holmes.
Who says?
Give Allen what he needs.
Hartley
maybe going to throw it up the inside. No, he decides not.
It's more of a distraction technique maybe from Hartley, is it?
Possibly, yeah.
That he's trying to just put off.
I have to say, they've lost 2 seconds this lap to Travis Frenkie as well.
Frenkie,
so
just
they're going to be a little bit careful.
Here come the leaders as well.
3
minutes and 4 seconds. Just come up to 3 minutes to go now. And here comes Mike Dam. Mike Dam's about to lap these guys as well.
Oh, this is the last thing Mike Dam wanted to see, isn't it? 3 MX-5s battling away, and he's going to have to get
as well. So he's got to get a move on.
I think Alex, Mike Dam will be able to get them on the next 2 straights. I think he's got enough power in the Ford Mustang to do that, but he will not want to catch them in the middle sector. He needs to get past them now. It might be difficult if they're too wide.
Dam's got that outside line nailed.
And Holmes is doing, and Holmes can't cut him off. He thinks about cutting him off, Adam, but then here comes Dam. Dam's just going to say, well, hell with it, I'm going for it.
This might not end well.
Oh, Hartley! Hartley's going through, and Alan has to take avoiding action.
Forced him unawares, didn't it?
Alan still has an overlap though, Adam. Oh, and here comes, that's Andrew Lanning going through up the inside.
Oh!
And here comes Hero Nom as well. He will not want to get involved in this either. He can help
versus Goliath here, isn't it?
Goliath played by the American Muscle versus the Japanese Roadster. In Japan, no less. Twin Ring Motegi. It's a Honda track, this, isn't it? Am I right, Adam?
So, yeah, Suzuki. I know Suzuki was
Honda
always
road circuit, this?
I'll double check for you.
I think it was as well.
I think it is.
Tyler Shiflett's dropping down the order. Don't know what's happened to poor old Tyler, but
this is great actually for Alan this lap. That traffic's given him a little bit of separation now.
Oh, he's come out of the corner at the bottom of the hill, Tyler Shiflett, and he's crashed into the wall.
Oh dear.
But not a good race for him at all. Dam leads by 2.6.
This is the penultimate lap of the race. Once Dam crosses the line, it will be the white flag.
Look what's happened at the front though, Alex. Look, John Allen has suddenly got a gap again.
Yeah, 0.7 of a second. That was as the traffic come through. He really nailed that. So these guys are going to basically have to catch him up this lap. So going to be all or nothing, I think, coming into that final chicane. And look at what's going on, Hartley. Well, that's him out of the running.
Oh, and it's Franky's coming through.
Yeah, Franky's going to get the podium.
At least, well, I say he's going to get third. He's going to go into third. It's not over yet at all between these guys.
One more lap to go.
Yeah, Hartley's got to reinvigorate himself and try and muster enough strength to get back to the podium. But see what can happen. Mike Dam is in the middle sector of the lap.
Incident involving cars 38 and 95 will be reviewed post-race. That's Russell Ruddock, car 95. Car 38 is Jeff Jacobs, the Mazda MX-5. So they'll be reviewed later.
An interclass fight there. Mike Dam in the middle sector. Had a great race so far. It's not too close at the front of the Mazdas at the moment. Not quite, but I've got a feeling into that tight right-hander at the bottom of the hill, Alex, in just 4 or 5 corners time. I reckon John Allen's going to be under all sorts of pressure from Brighton.
Yeah, there's going to be an opportunity there, isn't there? Most definitely.
Mike Dam hasn't pulled away much since he lapped them about a lap or so ago. Shows you how close the pace is between the Mazdas and the Mustangs around this track today.
Well, here we go then.
Good exit from Alan, I have to say.
He's managed this race beautifully, and here comes Mike Dam. 3.9 second lead. Got 2 corners to go then. Dam with this double apex left, and it will switch back straight away to the right-hander. And coming through and taking the win for Canada is Mike Dam. Car 93 to the top of the podium again. And John Allen, he's going to hang on. He's going to hang on and take a brilliant win. Great strategy. And a fantastic victory for Allen. And Alex, that is an absolutely brilliant race from John Allen. And the strategy was perfect. Fantastically judged.
Yeah, fantastic race from those guys. Just having a look at some other little battles that are going on. There's Zachary Rubin and Fike there, very, very close into coming into the last sector as well.
Oh yeah, here we go, Adam, and into The hairpin, Jody Fike, trying to make a move here for 6th place.
Yep, as the fireworks go off. Here they come onto the back straight, and the fireworks are over on the track. Be a real opportunity here as we go down the back straight then for Fike versus Ruben.
Is he going to have a go? Oh, Ruben doesn't even defend the inside. Fike doesn't even try to go for the inside. So
Ruben just about makes a corner. Takes a lot of inside curves.
How's he going to manage to get past him now, though? That's the thing. That was his opportunity. Can't really throw one up the inside here. It's not really possible.
Final corner then. It's going to be a drag race. Oh, massive slide on there by Ruben.
No, are we to the line yet?
There we go, over the line. And it's just going to be Ruben.
Oh. I think Jody Fike missed the trick there, Alex. I think he could have had a go up the inside.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They didn't really have a lot to lose because Jeff Jacobs isn't even in the final corner yet. So, well, he is now. So I think they could have even had a collision and they'd have been okay. Yeah, very interesting one there, and brilliant race, Adam. I thought I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, these 90-minute race endurance ones, all about the strategy, and makes a change from the hour races that we usually have throughout the course of the season. And the strategy drivers, the ones that seem to know the strategy more than others, is blowing his engine across the line. There goes Chris Torman. Yeah, the strategy drivers like John Allen, Mike Dam. Again, they're proving how good they are when it comes to the master calculators and when to come in and get their pit stops done.
Yeah,
right.
I think that was great. You know, a fantastic finish to the race, and
the finishing order then.
Yeah.
So Mike Dam then takes the win here today at Twing Motegi in round 4 of the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. That is his 3rd win out of 4 this season. Second, well done to the by the way, to the Dan Motorsports driver. Error non-finishing in 2nd place for Bush Fink Racing. Then in 3rd it is going to be Stephen Thomas. 4th, Pasquale Iannucci. 5th place finish for Kevin Ford in the Ford Racing car. Colin Vigas, the privateer, finishing in 6th, started 6th as well. Got a bit of a pass in here as well. 7th for Leon Wright, he also started there too. Car 77, couldn't have finished in a much better place. Matthew Katila finishing in 8th, 9th Russell Ruddock, the first of the Tortoise cars, and Jennifer McDonald in 10th. Tyler Schiffler 11th, then Mike Monaghan 12th, then Mike Ruddock, a late dash for the pits on the final lap of the race there for him. He finished a lap down in 13th. Then Andrew Lanning 14th from Brandon Whitworth in 15th a lap down in the final Mustang. Then John Allen, what a strategic race that was from him. A track that he does love to drive on but doesn't have much experience around. And that didn't hinder him at all today, and he gets the win in the Mazdas. 2nd for Brian Holmes, 3rd for Travis Schwenke, 4th for Rob Hartley. Jim List finishing in 5th. Great job by Travis Schwenke as well. After Hartley made that mistake, he was able to keep Hartley back for that final lap. Then in 6th, Zachary Rubin, 7th, Geordie Fike, then 8th, Jeff Jacobs, 9th, Joe Boyd, 10th, Dan Corrido, Chris Torman in 11th, Lyndon McMurphy 12th, Edgar Sancinelli 13th, Michael Key 14th, Patrick Ravenas in 14th place, and then 15th place, and then the cars that didn't finish the race. Only one car failed to finish the race today, and that was Raymond Bader Jr. Don't know what happened to Raymond, actually, just pulled off to the side of the road halfway around the lap and decided to exit the session. So a bit of a weird one there, but
yeah. And Corey Wharton, who was leading the open category, I believe, didn't take the start.
You're right. He was 2nd in the open category going into this one, just behind Mike Monaghan, and yeah, he practiced, but he didn't qualify and he didn't take the start. So a bit of an odd one, but hopefully we'll see him back for Laguna Seca for a 60-minute race, sprint race next week.
Yeah. Interviews then, and some of the drivers standing by. John Allen is going to be first man, I believe, if someone can bring him into the booth. And we are now joined by John Allen, and John, that must feel really good. That was beautifully judged.
Sorry guys, I'm still wiping a little sweat here. That That was just a fantastic race all around. I hope it came across to the viewers as much as it had us on edge. That was just fantastic racecraft, very tight, lots of different strategies. I love the 2-pit longer races because tonight I got a chance to show I was more than a one-trick pony. I played a different strategy than everyone probably expected of me in my routine, and it worked out. It couldn't work out any better, and I sputtered into my pit stall on the cooldown, so just enough fuel.
Yeah, we know you like a little bit of an odd strategy, but this time everything seemed to work to perfection. Yeah, you know it's a good race if you're sweating and it's the middle of winter. So you know that you've done something right, you know, when that happens, and it's been an exciting race. One thing I think that you'll probably agree with me as well is great driving by Brian Holmes and Rob Hartley as well, because you guys were side by side for so much of the race, and you never even looked like making contact. So I think you'll agree that was a great battle to be in, I bet.
Oh yeah, and I wouldn't have done it with anybody else. I mean, it's to have the utmost confidence that they're going to throw it in as the time's winding down, but they're going to do it fairly every time, and I'm going to give them maybe an inch more than what they absolutely need, and they're going to take all of it. So just fantastic racing. Love running with these guys.
And obviously Daytona went very well for you. It's been going pretty well as well since, and seems like this season, it seems like you're sort of reinvigorated again, ready to fight for the championship.
Yeah, that's the goal. I guess that's the goal every time. But as I said last time on the podium, or at least on the top step, that in these winter months, there's enough less going on outside of this series that I can dial in just that much more, and I think it's showing.
Yeah, and I think we said before that it seems like the amount of the amount of practice and things that you can get in, and it definitely makes a huge difference. Just before we let you go tonight, you can give a shout out to anybody who you'd like to, and go off and enjoy your victory.
Well, first and foremost, I think it's clear to anybody watching, but the series wouldn't be what it is without the high-class driving and drivers that we have. That could have gone all kinds of south at a lot of different times were it not for the quality of driving that we surrounded ourselves with. So really pleased for that, and might have before the season's out, might have a new livery coming here with the Night Fox Design Defined AutoWorks car. So keep you guys ready for that.
All right, great. Well, once again, mate, thank you for joining us in the commentary box, and we'll catch you next week at Laguna Seca.
Look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
Then, Adam Bath is going to be with Mike Dam any moment now, as well as Mike's making his way into the commentary box, and here he is. Adam, take it away.
Oh, Mike Dam, another victory. 3 wins out of 4. Perfect start to the season.
Yeah, it just worked out for me tonight. The strategy was perfect. Didn't have another lap of fuel, so it was, strategy-wise, it was about as perfect as it could get, and I managed to not make any mistakes, so it was close still.
Yeah, first round of pit stops, we saw Nom take 2, you take 4, and then we saw it the other way around in the second round of pit stops. So were you worried after you took the 2 tyres in the second round of pit stops that Nom would close up to the back of you in the final stint?
Well, it is kind of scary coming out of the pits. Or rather, when your opponent comes out of the pits and he's gaining like a second per lap, and you're kind of going, "Oh no, how's this gonna work out?" But it works both ways. It was like that for me on the first stint. I was managed to after the first pit stop, I pulled like something like a 5 or 6 second gap, but then I think what helped me was my right sides weren't that used when I took the lefts, so I was still running on decent tires. I was able to run some pretty good lap times out of the box. So
good strategy there. Racing under the lights tonight, plus on the Japanese tarmac here at Twin Ring Motegi. Did that have much of an impact on the way the tires were during the race?
Oh yeah, you had a lot of grip on the fresh tires But the one thing I did notice was after about 5 or 6 or 7 laps, you lost about a second and a half, and it kind of stayed there for the rest of the stint. So getting those fresh tires really only helped you for that first push there.
And the Mazdas a lot closer to you in at this race meeting, especially around the second half of the lap. They looked like they were really difficult to get by.
Yeah, I was coming up on the top 3 there, and I was they were going 3 wide, and I'm starting to worry a bit. But and I managed to get up to them at a decent spot and get by them all quickly. But I don't think Euro was as lucky.
Next week, then we go back to the sprint races, well, the 60-minute races anyway. Laguna Seca, a track you should know well, really.
Yeah, I really enjoy Laguna Seca. It's another one of those grippy. It's a real grippy track. I think it's probably the most grippy track on iRacing. So really high speed, flowing track, and it's definitely a lot of fun to drive.
Right, well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout out to anybody?
Yeah, just all the drivers in this league who make it what it is. It's always competitive in both classes. There's always a respect out there on the racetrack. So yeah, just kudos to all the drivers and the admins, all their sponsors, Ricmotech and TD's Tree Service, and thanks to you guys for broadcasting.
No problem. Well done on the win. 3 wins out of 4. Of course, you'll be hoping to make it 4 wins out of 5 next week. But yeah, thanks for taking the time and coming to speak to us, Maita.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Like the post-race stewards have had a look at the incident involving the Mazda and the Mustang, and no further action. And I believe Alex Simpson is with Stephen Thomas now.
Yeah, hi Stephen, welcome to the booth. Good race for yourself. You must be happy with getting onto the podium there, holding off Pat for that final stint.
Yeah, any chance to get on the podium against these guys is awesome. There's such a fast group of guys now. So it was fantastic. There's definitely some sloppy parts on my end, but yeah, overall real good.
You looked like you were in the hunt for the first couple of stints, and then it sort of slipped away when everybody made their final pit stops. But yeah, still an interesting race for you. You had your hands full the whole last stint there.
Yeah, Pat's just incredibly quick and really good at keeping the pressure on. So yeah, I was just happy to hold on and survive it.
We were talking at the start of this race of actually this is quite a tricky track to overtake, and you know, you sort of got yourself on the podium due to sort of your pit stop strategy. Would it be a fair assessment to say that it is tough for the Mustangs here?
Yeah, it can definitely get that way if you're a little too aggressive early. The tires fall off really quick. My pit strategy was to take all 4 tires on the second pit stop, and that was kind of a gamble with traffic, but it seemed to work out, keeping the fresh tires on.
And I mean, just having a little look at the pack, I mean, it seems like this season there's a lot more competition. Everyone seems a little bit closer. I mean, got any ideas as to why that might be?
I mean, a couple additions to the league, obviously with Arrow. I mean, he's just fantastic. But everybody's really stepped up their game. I think a lot of the new guys, the faster guys coming in, have helped everybody kind of develop as drivers and get faster and faster. So I mean, any given week, 8, 9, 10 different Mustangs can get up on the podium. So it's great to see. It's awesome for the league.
And are we hoping to see you on the podium a few more times this season? Maybe a step or 2 higher?
I'm certainly hoping so. If I could I'd be thrilled to get on the podium again. But 1 or 2 would be fantastic.
Awesome stuff. And before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, Frank at Ricmotech. I appreciate his support, and TD with TD's Tree Service. They've been awesome supporters and helping us develop this thing. And of course, Kevin and Jeff, our admins, they do a lot of work for us and turn out a good product every week. So just those guys.
Awesome stuff. Thanks, mate. Have a good evening, and yeah, we'll catch you next week.
Yep, night, guys.
Get Stephen Thomas in the booth again, and well, Alex, if you can sum up the race, I thought it was really good.
Yeah, good meeting all round. MX5's, predictably very, very close, but some good strategy calls, and what fantastic battling at the end there. John really holding on extremely well. We thought with like 6-7 minutes to go that his goose was cooked, I think. But yeah, some great defending, and then the traffic arrived just at the right time for him, didn't it? So fantastic job, Brian and Travis on the podium as well. I mean, Travis, I don't think he could believe he got a podium there. Actually, a mistake from Hartley, a very rare mistake as well. So good race for those guys. And then obviously in the Mustangs, it was hard to tell where that one was going to go for a little while. It was quite close. I feel a little sorry for Kevin. He really never had an opportunity to get with the front guys. He sort of got tucked up, didn't he, behind Leon Wright for a little bit, and then Wright's tyres went off, and that was the gap really gone for Kevin, so he wasn't able to sort of battle with the top four. But yeah, that could have gone any way, I feel, up until that last pit stop. But yeah, Dam looking very, very strong, as always, and just seemingly always gets his strategy just absolutely on point at the moment.
Adam, I think we're all looking forward to Laguna Seca as well, because that, as we mentioned, it's going to be. I think it's going to be fun. It's always interesting. We always get some controversy there as well, it seems.
Yeah, back to the very small runoff areas and very tough demands of Laguna Seca. We've got a lot of elevation changes as well, plus the iconic corners such as the Andretti hairpin and the corkscrew and the run up the Rahal Hill as well. A really traditional venue.
That's easy to say, isn't it, that one?
You can say it. 3:20 in the morning, and I promise I haven't drunk anything either. I think I'm drunk on tiredness, but yeah, looking forward to that one. Plus, of course, we've got the VSR MX5 coming up later today. That's going to be at Snetterton.
And that won't be clean as a whistle like this one was. Thank you, everybody, for watching us here tonight on Apex Racing TV. Once again, from the Twin Ricmotech and the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, from Andrew Woodhouse, from Alex Simpson, and Adam Bath. We will see you in about 16.5 hours' time. We'll see you then.
Focus, determination, passion, stamina, and the will to win. The end result, the Ricmotech Sports Car Series. Extreme Motorsports brings you the Ricmotech Sports Car Series, brought to you by Ricmotech High Performance Sim Racing Equipment, and in part by TD's Tree Service. Live Mondays, 8:30 p.m. Eastern.